All right, what's going on, world? Welcome to the Martian podcast, a space where we come here and we just have real conversation and talk a whole lot of shit. You know, got my guy, Majestic.
What's up, man? What's good?
You know, Majestic is the first episode.
Oh, for real?
You are the first episode. Yeah, so I mean, I need some clap.
We gotta chance it out. We gotta chance it out.
Yes, sir.
Let's kick this off right.
Oh man,
I bet you want to mix that drink now,
yeah, I might need to.
Bet you want to mix it now.
Anyway, so Majestic, I asked Majestic, yo, what do you drink? He said rum. And what kind of rum did you say again? You gave me two different ones.
Well, I gave you Scotch.
Yeah, you said Scotch or rum.
So Scotch is really the go-to because I drink straight. I drink on the rocks. So that's my preferred drink of choice.
All right.
But if the substitute would be rum.
Okay.
White rum.
And then, so all this happened in a group chat. Ladies, not the type of group chat that y'all be on, but you know, this was a professional group chat.
A productive group chat.
Yeah, on Sundays we read the Bible. That's the kind of group chat.
And drink water and mind our business. That's what we do.
So, you know, Mambo, DJ Mambo, shout out to him as well, you know, on the boards. He was like, he said something about the specific rum being a Jamaican thing.
Yes.
And my answer to him was, Majestic is one of those DJs who is at this point he don't belong to just one island. You're from everywhere at this point. And that's where I want this conversation to go. Gotcha. So let's talk about that a little bit. And by the way, I'm not here, we're not interviewing, we're just chopping it up. We're just chopping it up. I met you maybe like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah. And I met you through Jason.
Yes.
Jason, legendary Jason.
Big up to the legend. Steele. That's exactly what he is.
And I remember this vividly. You don't even know this story, but let me tell you.
Gotcha.
So, DJ Chick.
Right. Another legend.
That's my OG. He came to us like, me and Sam at that time. You know, he comes, yo, I went to this party and I met this guy. And the way he was playing music, man, it was crazy. So we're like, who? Because at that time, Chick only spoke highly of people like Jason Steele, Super Slice, and freaking G Nice.
Gotcha.
That's it.
But those are the legends, the OGs. Yeah.
So whenever Chick talked about people, we're like, all right, it got to be one of them. He's like, nah, it's this guy, Majestic. I'm like, Majestic? At that time, we didn't know who Majestic was. He's like, nah, he plays with Jason Steele. Like, a word? So the next time, which was the actual time when I met you and you were playing, I was like, damn, this dude right here, different.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm a lot of DJs don't love music no more, bro. I'm just say that right now. A lot of DJs just DJ for the clout or to be popular or whatever. A lot of DJs don't love music, bro.
Exactly.
Like, from day one that I heard you play, I was like, yo, this dude right here, every time I hear you play Majestic, I'm not even trying to like gas you up right now. Every time I hear you play something different. It's never like the same experience.
Have to.
And that's dope. Like, where does that come from?
It comes, to be honest, growing up, I never really wanted to be a DJ, but I always loved music. I'm a musician at heart, so I play instruments.
Okay. Which instrument you play?
All percussion instruments.
Wow.
Mainly like drum.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But growing up, I was an avid lover of music. Moving to the States when I migrated here.
Okay. From
Trinidad. Okay. I'm originally from Trinidad.
TNT.
Yeah. My cousin, who is also another legend here, Sprang International.
Sprang. Oh,
when I
God.
Yeah, when I first migrated here.
He's such a name dropper, dog.
I was living with him at the time.
Okay.
And I started dabbling in the music in Trinidad, but I still didn't know the basics.
Okay.
And coming here was such a culture shock because I was just used to, one avenue of how the music was directed. I listened to radio a lot, so that's where I got the wide range of, the soft rock. I
yeah,
remember vividly. My uncle would come to pick us up as kids, and those times dancehall was really prominent in Trinidad.
Okay.
So as soon as you get into his car, he would always say, "Don't put on that ragga ragga." And then he proceeds. His station was always the soft rock station.
Okay.
So now becoming a DJ, I remember those songs.
All those things.
So it's like I was prepping from a young age to.
And you didn't even know.
I didn't even know. And my brother, who's also, that was the actual person responsible for making me and turning me into a DJ.
Okay.
He would make my mom cassettes with slow music, a lot of soul and slows. So becoming a DJ is like, I remember this song. I remember mom playing this.
That was your path.
It was, it kind of became that.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, that's what's up. I remember for me, man, listen, first of all, I'm African, yo. Ain't no such thing as telling your parents, your African parents, that you're going to be
Then
a
you gonna
DJ. Hell no. But I was in high school here, actually.
Gotcha.
And I was the guy that made mix CDs for everybody.
Gotcha.
So next thing you know, because I kind of the same thing with you, my mom, she listened to a lot of like the soft rock, the old R&Bs that someone was just asking me earlier who my favorite artist is, and I was like, Whitney Houston. Bro, I own probably every single album that Whitney Houston has ever made. But, coming from, that era of listening to Whitney Houston, Madonna, like most kids, they weren't at home listening to Madonna.
But it's funny because we know where we are in our career. It's funny how even you saying what you're saying about your mom. My mom was the same. She doesn't know anything about
Dion, bro.
She didn't know anything about this DJing thing, so she was against it. But the musical knowledge was just always there. So it's like, Mom, you kind of taught me, you kind of brought me here,
Facts,
so I understand where you're coming from, where your
Yeah.
mom probably didn't want you doing it, but she still gave you the tools to become what you are today.
So like kind of going back to where I was saying, like DJs today don't love music. I say this, that's a statement I make all the times, that DJs today don't love music. There's no way you can tell me you love music and you're playing the same thing all the time.
Exactly.
It just don't make sense to me.
Exactly.
That's why I always make sure that, first of all, quick little story, right? My very first, I don't know if I should say this.
Go ahead. It's a calm
My
space.
very first Caribbean girlfriend. I say I don't know if I should. Well, I mean, it shouldn't even matter at this point because I am where I am. But my very first Caribbean girlfriend was from Trinidad.
Okay.
She's the one who really put me onto soca, because I knew of dancehall, of course. Coming from a French-speaking background, the zouk, compa, all that, I knew that. But soca I didn't really know, and she put me onto soca in the era when Martian was still with Ecstatic.
Gotcha.
And that was my very first introduction to soca music, bro. And that shit changed my life, yo.
And you could tell that it has, because so now I'm not in here, I'm not gonna gaslight you, but there's so much DJs that dabble in playing soca that don't understand how to play soca.
Facts.
And listening to you, not even just play soca, but play music.
Yeah.
You can tell that, this DJ is very knowledgeable of knowing a verse, a chorus, a pre, you know what I mean? Understanding how to, so you can be dropped in Trinidad during carnival time and nobody will be none the wiser of who you are, where you're from, because of how you know to play the music.
Bro, because, for me, I feel like it's very important, it's when, as a DJ who loves music, it should be beyond the music. Like, when you get in touch with any type of genre, you got to try to figure out the culture behind it.
Have to.
Right. The culture, and of course, with the culture come the history of the stuff. Because, again, going back to those days, once I got to know soca, I had to go back and figure out, why is it called soca? And before there was calypso.
It was calypso, right?
Right, you know what I mean? So I had to find out all of those things because
A
in
lot of
order for me
DJs
to move forward, I
Yeah.
needed to go back.
and a lot of DJs are not doing research. So that's one thing. That's why my relationship with Jason from the day I met him
Yeah.
to now is how it is, because I am a historian. I want to know everything about
Facts.
everything. I'm gonna ask. Thank God we're in an era where there's YouTube and Google, so we can,
It
do our-
simplified things.
Yeah,
It does.
But before we had to ask.
So how do you feel like from then to now? How do you feel about because I mean, I don't want to box you in, but every DJ has, their main genre, the genre that you predominantly play,
Right.
and that's soca for you.
Not
No?
so I'm a. That's brief.
Okay.
I fell into that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about that.
I fell into that when I first started. I started my first house or home where I was playing was actually around here. Was Silver Spring Caribbean style restaurant.
Caribbean style. That place is closed now.
It's
right?
closed down now.
Yeah.
It's an actual restaurant now.
Okay.
But back then
it was.
I was known for playing a lot of dancehall. Because growing up in Trinidad, believe it or not, dancehall is a little bit more predominant than the soca. Because soca is seasonal.
Well, yeah. That makes sense.
So the majority
Yeah.
of the year, you would hear
dancehall.
dancehall. So I grew up on dancehall more than... I learned to appreciate soca, and this is the honest truth. Living in Trinidad, I was not into carnival. I played pan.
How is that? How the hell are you gonna be?
That's the thing. So I played pan, but I wasn't into the art form of what carnival and mass was. I was into pan.
Hold on. Dumb it down, because some people don't know what mass is.
Okay, so carnival is pretty much a festival where you get to express yourself by wearing costumes and parading throughout the streets. Like typically just partying throughout the streets.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. That art form I was not into as a kid.
Okay. Why though?
It just never appealed to me.
Huh.
And I think as an adult, the first experience I got, I realized I had to be an adult to understand
The culture behind carnival.
the culture behind what carnival was.
Right.
It's about friends, it's about having a good time.
Yeah.
And being a kid,
Yeah.
what am I doing with my friends? And it just wasn't the place for me. So I wasn't connected culturally there. So when I moved here, I was straight dancehall. I had an accent. My names before Majestic were horrible. Thank you, Mom, for my name. Because my names before were not horrible.
Like your DJ names?
My DJ names.
What I want to hear.
my very first DJ name was Zion Links.
Zion. That's not too bad, bro. If you're playing dancehall, that's not too bad.
But it still boxes you in when you hear the name.
Facts. That's true. That's true.
So one of my favorite MCs is Fire Links. So that's where the links came from. And I was for a period in my life, I followed the Rastafarian faith.
Okay.
So that's where the Zion came into play.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
But I was just very heavy into the dancehall. So starting where I started, I would call it what it is. A lot of my people bun me out for it. They would say, oh, he wants to be Jamaican, or he's trying to sound Jamaican, or, and that was never what it was. I wasn't trying to be something else. It's just what my heart was
that's
into.
Where you were, right.
So to prove that I was more than just that, because I've always played different music. I always played different genres of music. So when I started getting that stigma and the backlash, I was like, well, so you think I can't play soca?
I'm going to show you.
I'm going to show you.
My guy.
And then in doing that, I did it so well that stigma stuck on me as a soca DJ. And I'm not a soca DJ.
I'm glad you say that. Because when I made the statement earlier and then I was explaining that, I said, you're one of those DJs that don't belong to just one island anymore. is because, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes when I've heard you, I've been like, we
played alongside together.
But there was one space. We were at one of the spills. I don't know which one, but we were at one of the spills. Dude, you played dancehall there. I was like, damn. So that's another thing. Because again, even with the way you play dancehall there, I've heard a lot of DJs play dancehall. Like me, myself, within the dancehall culture, I like Filings,
Right.
Tony Matahan. But I have to say, me saying I come from an era, it feels like I'm old as shit, you know? But
We're seasoned.
Stone Love, bro.
Exactly.
I still have some old
Stone Love,
CDs
right.
from Stone Love. So even their way of playing music, like when one song from the next, it makes sense. It's like they're telling a story. And a lot of DJs don't really do that. But when you get behind it, and I used to be like, damn, how Majestic playing, some people are going to be mad at me for that, but I'm like, damn, how Majestic playing dancehall better than the dancehall DJs?
You always say that about some of you. Hear me play something, but that's how I feel about you because I don't box you. Yes, you are from a community, but I don't box you in as that specific DJ because you are the same way. When if that's what the time called for, and you were to play pop, or nobody is expecting Claude to come play a house set, but Claude can do that. Claude can Claude can play a whole night of house, a whole night of pop, a whole night of genres of music that you don't expect him to play. So that's just where we come from. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
now, pretty much the reason why outside of, well, let's be candid. We were having a meeting here, and I said to you, man, listen, we're going to jump back here. We're going to shoot this podcast, and we're going to talk about, whatever, life.
Right.
But one of the main reasons why we were meeting up here was because, lately I've seen that you're one of those outside DJs, outside of that community that is playing a lot of my piano, bro.
Right.
Like, how you feel about my piano as a whole?
I felt so when we were having a conversation earlier, and I was telling you that during the COVID, I was off the scene. A couple of my friends, we just always, because we were off the scene, we always linked up. That was our thing. We'd always pick someone's house and we link up and just play music and vibe out. And, some of them aren't DJs, but because they're around it, it became infectious and they learned and they are now able to, so in one of those link ups, big up to DJ Cashrag.
Cashrag, that's another music lover right there.
Big up to DJ Cashrag.
Cashrag.
We were outside one day and I just got finished playing a set and he comes on to play a set and he starts. His first song was I'm a Piano song. I had no clue what it was. I just remembered the vibe because we were outside, backyard. The sun was about to set. It was a beautiful day. And the ambience complemented the music. And it made, and a lot of DJs aren't brave or even
I was just about to say that,
willing to put their ego down to go ask another DJ, what's that or what's that song? I remember hearing him play about 2 songs and then walking over to him. I looked at my other friends and we all felt the same way because we all looked at each other like, what is this? Because it just fit the ambience of what we were doing, and we all looked at each other like, what the fuck is this? And then we walked over to him. And that's how I got introduced to Amapiano. And
by the way, shout out to all the DJs that be in the club shazamming instead of just walking up to the DJ and asking them, yo, what is this that you're playing?
I'm a Shazammer. I'm gonna Shazam. I'm not ashamed of that. Some DJs they're not willing.
They're selfish. You're
exactly.
Right. You're right.
I didn't want to say it, but
right.
Some DJs are selfish to not even spread that, but Cashrag was the one who put me on, gave me my first folder, It was like 14 songs. I ran those 14 songs into the ground until I was able to source it myself. Big up to DJ Mambo. He helped me source some as well. But that was where it stemmed from.
Cash Rag is another person I need to have a conversation with.
For sure.
Because, like, I remember Cash Rag from his Howard days. It used to be him and Maga. And, yeah, Maga is where he is now, but Cash Rag was always the guy he was another guy that always surprised me. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not easily surprised by DJs. Right. A lot of the times I'm like, I know what he's about to do.
Right.
You know, but it's very few DJs that I've heard I was like, damn, okay. And Cash Rag, he's consistently been that. Even the Shah Marshall and Masville show that we did, same thing. When he was playing, he was like doing the early vibing. He was playing some stuff. I'm like, dude, what do you know about this? It's like, man, it's music.
Exactly.
You know,
he is a music lover.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to him for real. Yeah. You know, so Amapiano is really like, someone texted me. I can't say his name. He's a DJ. Okay. I can't say his name, you know, for privacy purposes. No, but he was saying to me that, yo, Amapiano is taking over. And I was like, bro. And he said, Amapiano is like a new genre. It's this new genre that I'm just getting on and he's taking over. I was like, bro, it's not really new.
It's existed for centuries.
I'm like,
it feels like
it's not new. It's been out for a while. It's just that people weren't really hip to it. And it really made me realize that outside of the fact that there are a lot of people that are always late to the parties, but DJs today are not willing to introduce music to people, you know, because I don't think I really thoroughly believe that Amapiano became hot because of like social media.
Gotcha.
I don't think it became hot because DJs made it hot.
Right, definitely. Social media definitely played a big part. And I think too, the time of where you and myself, where we came from,
right?
We are two of the few DJs that play for the party. We don't play music for our set, for our time. So it's like, yeah, we have an hour, but we're not going to play just to make sure that our hour is hot.
Right.
You know, so we play to...
Because a lot of DJs, that's all they want to do.
How much times have you and I played music together on the same bill, and you might play after me, and I alley hoop?
Literally
alley hoop it. Yeah. Because that's how...
That's how it's supposed to be.
A party is supposed to be a crescendo, a climax. You know, I always compare
musicians crescendo.
Yeah, I always compare to I dumb it down for people who, you know, new to the DJing, and always try to compare it to, you know, sex. You don't just dive into sex. You always...
I say that all the time.
You have to build up.
You sure do.
There's foreplay. There's so much that you build up to before you just get to the actual act.
Exactly.
Which is what an event is. A lot of these DJs now play for their time. I got an hour. I got to make sure my hour is hot. And I don't care who's coming after. But so that's why the music...
And that shit is crazy to me. Because to me, I'm like... So... all of, like, a lot of young African DJs, right? When they come to me, for some reason, a lot of them come to me because I don't know if I'm like supposed to be the old guy for them now.
No, but you're not a OG. You're OG, but you're a experienced young OG.
Okay,
that's what we are.
I take that.
That's what we are.
I take that. Yeah. So they come to me a lot of times, and I tell them, I'm like, yo. Really and truly, so yes, I did learn like the art form of DJing through like African DJs. But the experience, which is building a vibe, I learned that from the Caribbean DJs. Because I vividly remember going to a dance and from early, they have like Flavor Roots playing and they playing shit like Whitney Houston, Boyz II Men,
exactly.
Celine Dion. They not coming there at 10 o'clock and playing Cardi B.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. There's going to be a point in the night for that.
Exactly. And I feel like even to a certain extent, a lot of the Caribbean parties have lost that essence as well. Some of them, they still
Still have it.
understand the whole, okay, we got to get this specific DJ to play the early warm,
Right.
and then this next guy to do this part. But sometimes, man, you go to some of these joints and you're like, yo, I just walked in. Why is the music jumping on me?
I think that's just the time that we're in. That everybody is for self. There's no one
crazy, yo.
There's no one that's caring of
The
what's
experience.
next, the experience. I remember vividly. I was not that DJ, but I remember vividly. Big up to Alton, Mr. Alton, who was the ex-owner of Crossroads.
Okay.
I remember when I first got that gig playing at Crossroads.
Damn, you played at Crossroad?
Yeah, I had my
wow.
I had my own night. I had 3 nights at Crossroads.
Really?
I kind of went through multiple nights, but then I had my own Saturday night at Crossroads.
That's how you know you're legit.
Yeah.
If you played at
Well,
Crossroads?
that's how that ended up happening. When I first got the audition to play, I was playing on Sundays alongside Jason. That was
Okay.
Dancehall Sundays.
Yeah.
And how I played was literally not. I played to make sure that my time was hot. And I remember Jason specifically saying to me, yo, pay attention to what I'm about to do, and after, we're going to have a discussion about what you did. And after he played, he asked me, he said, you remember what you played? And I said, nah. He said, nobody else does either.
Oh, shit, that does sound like Jason.
He said, nobody else does either. And his premise behind that was the time of, the same how you just expressed it. People were walking in and the music was just attacking them.
Yeah.
You know? So, and then Alton having that conversation with me to make me further understand why it was so important
Right.
to have a build up.
Right.
His reasoning was more business. His thing was, my bar needs to sell. So you need to make sure that people
Absolutely.
go to if people are partying,
They can't go to
they
the bar.
can't go to the bar.
Right.
So you need to make sure that people go to my bar.
Absolutely.
So he taught me a lot of how a night should be structured, and that stuck with me to this day.
But you said two very important things, you said a lot of important things, but the thing that I got that was like super duper important from what you said is that you had two OGs that felt like it was important to talk to you. I think that's what's lacking today. I don't know much about, let me not say I don't know much. I can't say I know it all about what's happening in, the dancehall or soca community here in the DMV. But I don't feel like, even with the African communities, the quote unquote seasoned DJs are not willing to have these conversations with the younger guys because they look at them as in we're in competition.
I honestly don't think that's it. I
Okay.
think in our time of coming in,
Okay.
we relied on these guys. So like a Chick, because
Right.
Chick played a part in my career. Slice, the G Nicey Sprangs, the Jason Steels.
Right.
They played a part because it wasn't a skill where it's as easy as it is now, where I could go get a laptop, download music,
Facts.
and set up shop on my
Facts.
own.
Facts.
Now you can set up shop on your own. So
That's true.
So some of these guys who set up shop on their own and are able to market, they don't feel like they need any type of advice because I did it on my own. Whereas back then, you needed these guys. You needed the okay to even play alongside.
That's true. You know what Chick used to tell us? Chick used to be like, nobody can touch G Nice's set. Like, the only way anyone gets on that set is if G Nice says you can get on G Nice.
And that's my point. These guys were so important that you had to not so much go through them, but you had to. It was almost like they would hand it over to you.
Right.
Whereas these guys now, some of them, not all,
They want to take what you got.
not even just take. They are able to create it on their own, so they don't see the importance of having guys like us who are seasoned
Right.
even give them advice. Because I did this on my own. What you gonna tell me that I can't do? And I'm able to market. I'm able to, I'm popular on social media. So it's like, it's a different timing. So it's a different mental.
That's true, man.
How to go about doing things.
You're right. Because I remember going through the CD phase, because when I was starting to DJ, right, they were literally just leaving the vinyls and getting into CDs.
See, we both came in at the same time, the tail end of records,
right,
at the start.
into CDs.
Right.
So there wasn't any, even access to music wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that.
To get music, you better go and talk to them OGs.
Exactly. It's either, because I came in the very tail end of I carried records, I played records.
Okay.
So I had to go, and that's a nice thing I learned with even Jason. It's like, yo, this is not a CD that you could, is a 45.
Right.
You can't burn this 45. You can borrow it if I'm not playing, but most likely I'm playing. So when I'm going to buy this record, either you come with me to buy this record, or
facts,
you're just not going to play what's hot. So I had to learn to now source music a different way, as it's different now, where you can go on YouTube and you can go and rip music even if you can't find it.
And even if there's a motorcycle sound in the song that you play, it don't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So it's a different time.
Tell me. Sorry to cut you off. Which time you like? You as a music lover and as a DJ, which time do you like best? This time or back then?
A little bit of both.
Okay. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I love the struggle. I wouldn't change the struggle.
Facts.
For anything.
Facts.
I remember the transition from records to CDs. I was literally, big up to Supreme Team, big up to Ronnie, big up to Rage. Those are some pioneers in our realm.
Okay.
But they're family to us, to the Sprang International family.
Got you.
I remember we all started the conversion of record to CDs, where we literally sat in Sprang's music room,
my God,
with turntables, and literally
had to
play out every song on record and transfer it from record to CD. I went through that process. And those guys were there. That's why I could say, I could give them their flowers.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So I went through that process of playing a record for, if it was a 12-inch and it was 6 minutes long, I had to listen to that 6 minutes. You had to go through the
whole thing.
Exactly. And that's how I made my first CD pouch.
Wow.
So I knew what the struggle was
to
access music. You know what I mean? And then, building a deeper relationship with Jason, where when it was CDs, where he would just say, take my pouch and burn what you need to burn. That was heaven for me. That was like, that's like the key. That's like God giving you the keys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's you getting the keys to the city.
Who do you know is going to give you their vault?
Yeah, because even Chick didn't do that for me.
Exactly.
He gave me some stuff.
That's what I'm saying. When my relationship got, and I think what it was too with Jason, he saw potential and he saw that I was willing to do the work.
Right.
And it wasn't, I didn't look at it as work. I look at it like, we are music lovers, so I wanted to get these songs. I want to, I'll stay up. We'll just leave the club and he'll give me his pouch. And when he's sleeping, I'm up burning music.
Wow. Because
I'm so excited, like, wait, I get the default?
I'm
taking advantage.
I'm going to tell you something that I never tell you that. You remember the event that you and Gary booked me for?
Amped.
Right. And you guys had me play right after Jason. But I'm not going to lie to you. Like, just having to be on the same set with him, I was like, damn, I done made it.
But that's how we feel. That's how we feel.
I was like, damn, I ain't playing on the same set that Jason still blueprint.
That's how it is, bro.
Yeah, like that to me, I was like, damn, okay. I must be doing something right.
The DJs don't even look at other DJs in that light. These younger DJs, they don't see the value or the history in
Right.
these guys, because let's go past Jason and G-Nice and Sprang and Chick. You said an important name, Stone Love.
Yeah.
Big up to Rory from
Rory
Stone Love.
Stone Love. Yeah.
I just actually learned a lot of history about Rory. Rory was one of the first, if not the first, to invent what we know as juggling. From going from Cool Herc did it, but he didn't do it to the extent that Rory did, where we went from one song to the next song, back to the next song, back to the next song. Rory invented that.
For real?
Rory was the,
Wow.
because in his time it was still one turntable.
Yeah.
You flip the turntable and then a DJ comes.
So how the hell did he do it?
That's just his genius. I don't know what. I'm still waiting to have that conversation with him.
Right.
But I know.
Man, the day you have that convo with him, we need to have the convo again.
Exactly.
So I can hear about that.
But he is. That's why he's so iconic.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know any other Stone Love like
Selector.
names. Yeah, like that.
Rory.
But Rory.
But
yeah.
that's why he's so iconic.
Wow.
He is the first to do what we are doing here today.
Right.
You know. So if it is, I did not, and that's why I'm saying I'm looking past our OGs, the Chicks and
Yeah.
that man. If it wasn't for him, our OGs wouldn't have
Wouldn't
gotten
even
the game.
be, yeah, right.
For us to get the game. And a lot of the young DJs don't
Right.
even respect that, to understand, like, yo, if it wasn't for these guys paving the way, the way they paved the way.
I mean, a lot of the young guys, I think another issue is just that, like, social media and then just the internet as a whole has made the world so accessible to them to where they do not find the importance in what we used to find as, like, we used to see some of these guys as like mystical powers,
Right.
you know, and these guys today, you just you type Rory Stone Love, you find a Wikipedia, you read that shit and then move on.
Right.
That's literally how the
right.
thing. And just because also the way life is today, everything seems to be like, the shelf life for things is like 5 minutes.
Exactly.
You have this, boom, move on to the next.
Exactly.
You know, and that kind of takes me to the next thing that I wanted to, to talk about with you is just dancehall and soca as, as genres. How do you feel about them today? I'll tell you.
Okay.
Me. I think soca, for one reason or another, is still, for as good as it is still struggling to show that soca feels like the side chick. Like, she'll give you the best sex.
But
Yeah, but
she's not the main.
exactly. And for some reason, she just cannot find a way to become the main.
Right.
Yet she has all the best qualities, bro.
Right.
All the best. While dancehall is like the first wife, this is obviously in a polygamy relationship.
Right.
Dancehall is like the first wife. She'd been around for a while. She had her time, but now she's struggling to be what she used to be. That's how I look at it.
Gotcha.
So, like, I want to know, like, how, because this new dancehall today, I don't know.
Evolution. Everything has to evolve at some point, and when reggae was ska, it evolved to lovers rock, and then it evolved to culture, and then it evolved to, what it is today. I think I can't really speak too much on the dancehall side because, again, to me, it kind of complements the time that we're in now.
You think so?
Yeah, because of some of the popular genres like trap.
Okay.
It coincides with that.
I hate the fact that they don't even want to jump on rhythms no more, bro.
I hate that. That right there is one of the big reasons why dancehall has fallen. Taking away that rhythm aspect of what we know dancehall to be, because it's hard to now learn 50 million singles, whereas you would just know one
That
rhythm.
shit is stressful.
Exactly. So you have a harder time as a consumer learning the music because there's so much
Right.
different songs to learn as opposed to, okay, let's go to the Showtime or the Wally
Rhythm.
or
Sorry to cut you off. By the way, I'm glad that you just mentioned Showtime. Do you have the Binneman Hypocrite on Showtime? Like,
Yeah.
I need to get that from you. Anyway, go on.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
I need to get that.
Yeah, of course. I think soca needs to, which it is, or which it has become, directed more to the younger generation of artists producing music. For a long time, the culture depended on
The old.
what Marshall did,
That's
or what a lot of the older heads
Yeah.
produced.
Yeah.
But in order for it to evolve to the next step, it needs to have some youth,
a lot more voices.
a lot more
Right.
voices to carry it to the next step.
Right.
So like dancehall has evolved to what it is today, but it's evolved with new and improved artists.
Right,
Whereas
right,
we not still, yes, we still have the likes of a Beanie Man, a Capleton, a Bounty Killer
Right.
that are still around and
Right.
still make and contribute music,
Right.
but the art form is not dependent on them.
True.
Whereas
True.
with
True.
soca,
True.
I think for a while it was dependent on a lot of the OGs.
Right.
And now, we have the likes of a Pretty, Second Star, the Nyla Blackmans,
GBM.
the GBM
yeah,
Neutron. Big up to, that's my bro from Burt.
Yo,
you know?
you know that damn. Down and go down
Neutron,
there.
down there.
That's my favorite song right
He's a
now.
music-
Yo.
he's
You,
a-
you know why that's my favorite song?
Why is that?
I want you to just guess.
Because of the blend of the compa and...
Yes!
Yeah, man.
Bro, wait, did he produce that?
No, but I'm sure he wrote that song.
Yo, that song is phenomenal.
Yes.
Like, this is a cheat code right now that I'm about to give. Anytime I'm either trying to go into compa
Compa.
or get out of
compa.
compa, that's it.
his- Yeah, of course.
Bro, that song
course.
is the shit.
Yeah, of course. He's a genius. Well, we always... So his nickname to us is Jimmy Neutron because of him being a genius. Yeah.
That's what's up.
He's a...
Nah, yeah, that
But the business needs,
people like, yeah.
people like artists like that,
Uh-huh.
For the music to now evolve and transcend, because the same people who, yes, everybody loves Fast Wine and a Ben Over
Yeah,
from a
yeah,
Marshall,
yeah.
but we still need the youths. And I think too, just even here in the States, something I noticed years back, something that helped the culture was a lot of the CSAs that were formed.
Yes,
So
it
it
did.
was so it was a lot of kids that came from these islands
Yes,
that
it did.
culturally brought, an essence to why we needed to play new music or new artists.
Absolutely.
But now that's died out because we now has, if you're getting free tuition, I don't need to send you to Howard. Some do,
That's
but
true.
so
That's true.
the CSA lifestyle has kind of died.
You know what? You're right. Now that you say it, I have not seen the CSAs as I used to before.
It's not as prominent as
Bro,
before.
literally. So I went to Morgan State. And when I was at Morgan State, right before me, there was DJ Buddha. I don't know if you know
I know Buddha, yeah.
Okay. Before Buddha, there was Fire
There was fire
and Trigger.
and then there was even Fire Burn, and I forgot who else. There was a couple guys, man.
So by the time I got to Morgan State, Buddha was pretty much like moving on. So I became the guy. And I have, as much as I, said, my first Trini girlfriend, but the CSA at Morgan, Towson, and John Hopkins became another reason why I became so into soca music, especially because as an African DJ, we always had to know dancehall. You like Africans freaking love reggae and dancehall. You have to, but Africans were not always on the latest soca.
Gotcha.
To date, everybody is still playing Kevin Little, Turn Me On, and Rupee, Tempted
Tempted
to
to
touch.
touch.
You know.
Yep.
Alison Hines roll it.
Let's roll it. Yeah.
But with those kids, because I was doing a lot of the ASAs, which is the African Student Invite, which, by the way, they're still like really, they're actually even growing. So that's why when you just said that right now, it made me realize that, that's true. I haven't really heard much about the CSA.
And even when you would play at those CSAs, because the demographic was different, you couldn't just stick to a tiny whiny.
Exactly.
You had to keep it up to date. So that's what I'm saying, that it's lacking now. So all those little pieces help to move the culture forward. Because we can't live in the past as much as it's there.
Yeah.
It needs to evolve, but we need the artists and we need the people to help it evolve.
Absolutely. Which, the one thing that I just don't seem to understand, right? Because outside of maybe reggae, I have to say that soca is my next favorite genre. Like, bro, if I'm not listening to, old school R&B and I'm not listening to reggae, now there's a reggae, I'm listening to soca music.
Right.
So I always wonder, why aren't people really on soca like that? And I'm seeing the carnival culture becoming more and more of a thing. So now my next thing to you now, right? I follow this guy on IG. His name is like Blackie something. It's like, I think he's based in New York. But he's always saying how soca DJs.
He wears the bandana.
Yes.
Glasses,
Yeah. He's always like, man, soca DJs don't know music. They all play the same shit. And they all play this and they all play that. But every time, especially, in fairness, during the pandemic, when we were in lockdown, real DJs stepped up their games,
right?
Especially if you had to go online,
right?
Because I caught up with a few of like Rigo Suave.
Rigo, he was one. Kevin Crown was one.
Kevin Crown, I've caught up with a few of his as well. The guy you're about to host for your event, what's his name? Freeze International.
He was
which, by the way, what's that event?
That is strictly the best, the soca. This is the soca edition.
All right, we're gonna
get to that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah. So I caught up with some of these guys, and even what's his name? By far Mega.
Dope.
So those guys, By far Mega is another guy who knows music.
Jake Junior Cruiser. A lot of those guys, man. A lot of those guys are dope.
So, but listening to some of these guys, sometimes, I catch up to their SoundClouds and whatever, their live recording. I'm like, they don't really play the same stuff all the time. Where is this coming from? And it seemed to be like, a major consensus among people that, a lot of soca DJs play the same thing. Like, what's that about?
I think it's just about being safe. And I think because we're in a time where there's having a house is very, very important. And when I say a house, Caribbean Styles, that was a house.
Yeah.
Crossroads was a house. Where you can come, and it's not an event. It's a weekly
your residency.
So you can come, and I can introduce music to you. Whereas it's a little bit harder to introduce music at an event.
One-time events, yeah.
When I only have an hour, am I going to risk my hour to teach you, depending on the time of when I'm...
True. I never thought about that.
So I think a lot of DJs play safe because of the time that they might be going on. It's like, do I have the time? Because I'm guilty of that.
We're all guilty of it.
A lot of times I'm playing prime time, I'm playing last. And I want to educate people, but it's like, do I take the chance to do that? And I'm the last DJ, and you want to just party?
As the last DJ, I don't even think you should be doing that.
You shouldn't, but then I still feel like I have the responsibility
right.
And it's just that's what it is.
Yeah.
We're in a time where we don't really have those hubs to give the outlet of, and that's why even with the younger generation or the demographic, they themselves because what we were talking about, people are traveling a lot more now.
Okay.
So the demographic now, they travel to these different carnivals.
Yeah.
So now they are getting to experience,
Egg.
and that is what substitutes for not having a house.
Right.
So if you're unable to go experience, you're gonna fall victim to not being able to go to a
Yeah.
hub where you can learn.
Right,
you know?
right.
Whereas it have these kids that could go to Miami for spring break and go to these carnival events and experience, okay, I heard a Majestic or a Rego or Freeze play an old school set,
Right.
and they tore down the place. So when they come back to the DMV and they hear a Claude play Sugar Boom Boom or Tiny Whiny,
They like.
I heard that.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
know
yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Whereas if we were to introduce it to them, it's like, what
What are you doing?
What are you doing? What is this? And then we look like the old guys.
Yeah, yeah,
that,
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
Facts.
So
So with Carnival now, right? First of all, I'm gonna tell you right now, I hate Miami Carnival. I hate Toronto Carnival. What's Toronto Carnival called again?
Caravana.
See, I don't even know the name. I hate it with bro. I hate those two carnivals, and to a certain extent, I'm starting to hate New York.
Gotcha.
Let me tell you why. So, for the past maybe 5 years, I've been part of a band in Antigua Carnival.
Gotcha.
Where we doing straight like Afro beats, bro. Like predominantly Afro beats.
Right.
Yeah, we play soca, obviously, but we play a lot of Afro beats on the road. And the premise behind that was we want to start a band somewhere and then be able to move that band. Because a lot of bands did that. You start somewhere and then you move to different islands. And it made me realize that, bro, the carnival culture, outside of the fact that, first of all, it's so much more bigger than us, but it draws a number of people and it makes people feel a certain way that a party can never, a party without liquor. Sure.
Exactly.
Would never ever make you feel like that. But a party with liquor, obviously, you feel good.
Of course.
But, bro, carnival is just an unexplainable feeling.
Euphoria.
And, bro, I know like you've done a lot of different carnivals, bro.
Yeah.
How do you feel when every time you get on that truck, you get on the road from Juve morning, and it's like, all right, we got the next 2 days.
Again, I think it's all about the experience and the ambience of when you are playing. So let's just use a time of something that's very what's the word? Something that's very touching would be, let's say, Carnival Tuesday.
Okay.
Carnival Tuesday after lunch.
Yeah.
When the truck is now picking up.
Yeah.
Sun is setting. It's like that type of euphoria. It kicks in. It's like, yo, this is the end.
This is the last lap.
This is the last lap. Yeah. That girl that you tried to dance with,
you better
go try, and the sun is setting, the energy. It's so the music that is being played, being complemented by the vibe.
Right.
It creates such a euphoria that is undescribable.
I can bet you that Bungie had to have been at that moment, at one carnival at that moment, that's when he came up with Carnival Tabanca. I can promise you that.
It could have been a situation of, because Carnival ends very abruptly. There's a point where you pass, and your truck has to stop playing music. And that point, if you've gotten to your climax at that point, and then it's abruptly,
that's it.
I think that is what brings that Tabanca.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
You realize that, damn.
This is
it.
It's done.
You can go to parties, but like the road is done.
Just being able to be free, just being able to be, who would ever expect to be parading through the streets as freely as you could be, with alcohol in your cup.
I know.
Listening to music loud, You know, it's a just a different vibe. You're with your friends.
And nobody judge you.
Nobody judges you. You're with your friends. You're just having a good time. I think
Yeah.
that experience right there is what helps to cultivate what carnival is.
Real talk. If you've never experienced a carnival in your life, I'm not talking about Caribana. I'm not talking about State Park, Miami.
But I'm gonna say this: you have to experience those carnivals
Okay.
in order to be able to
Make it through the other ones.
the other
yeah,
ones,
yeah,
through the real-
That's fair. Because I tell that to everybody. That's true. That's true. I always tell people, go and do Miami
Go do a
or
Miami
Caribana first.
first. Yeah,
If you make it through that,
if you could survive the events,
Then-
the road, the everything.
you can at least do
Then you-
Juve and the first day anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you'll be able to do Tuesday as well, but
I tell people, a lot of people want to tag along, and I let them know this is a very like Jason. Jason is one of them. Jason said to me, and that was left field. He was like, Maji, I think it's time to do carnival. And I'm like, bro, I think you need to understand what carnival is. It's a lot of walking. Yes, it's a lot of drinking, but it's a lot of walking. It's a lot of you being on your feet. And I think
Yeah.
that's part of why the energy has to be so intense, because
Right.
when you really think about getting to a band at 7 a.m. in the morning and you don't stop until 6, 7 at night, that's what, 12 hours?
man,
Non-stop. You stop at lunch.
Non-stop.
You stop for lunch, which is like maybe an hour, 2 hours. But the rest of the time, you are walking. You have to have that mental stability to know, this ain't no, I'm tired and I'm done. Because it's not as easily,
you don't have that option.
it's not as easily accessible to say, well, I'm done. Let me go jump in a cab. And the streets are designed for carnival. So there's no, unsolicited cars that are just
No,
driving through.
sir.
Or the routes are structured for the bands.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see a taxi waiting
Right.
or Uber or anything of the sort. You either in it to get to it's like a marathon.
Yeah.
You have to be mentally prepared to get through this marathon. Or else you will be left at some point somewhere.
Which is where on the road,
Exactly.
you got to keep
So you
drinking
have
that
to-
rum.
You have to be mentally prepared for all of that. I'm lucky because I'll DJ, so if I am
You'll
tired,
be
I
on the
can go
truck.
sit on the truck. But for the average consumer who doesn't have that luxury, you definitely have to know.
But I've seen like a lot of people make it just off of like the love and adrenaline of,
yeah.
we're here and everything that's happening around you.
That's what I'm saying.
Because, bro, and I say this, every time I come back from Antigua, I say this, the love, not even just, okay, Antigua for carnival, but when I visit like other islands, the type of love that you get from people there is unmatched.
That's what I'm saying. It's a time of where everybody is free. So you're gonna pass street vendors, your everyday living people, and these are the people who you're gonna come in contact with. So it's Barbados is the one place where I felt that type of love from the everyday people. Not only that they thought I was Kes, but big up to Bubbles. Big up to my boy Bubbles.
Now that's funny.
Yeah, big up to my boy Bubbles, because he was selling that dream to everybody.
That's Kes.
He's like, yo, you
I
want to be
could
Kes?
see it.
And people was like, they want to take pictures. A lot of people right now probably disappointed they have a picture of me.
Yo, that's funny.
Yeah. But just the everyday people who, you see as a street vendor. Or just people, patrons who live on these routes,
Right.
live along these routes
Exactly.
that you pass, So,
And that's my point, bro. That's the part of carnival that is unmatched. And that's where Miami and Toronto and them, they just cannot compete with that because, okay, yeah, you get the music, you get the truck, you get the girls, and for girls, you get the guys. But outside of that, you don't, like, to me, the heart and soul of carnival is all those people you meet.
but you have
on
to
the
remember
road.
too, Miami, it's not really,
It's not on the road.
it's not amongst the people. you know,
Yeah.
is a designated place.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
where
yeah,
the people
yeah,
have
yeah.
to go. But the origin of it is just when you get the authentic vibe of being in a country where,
Okay.
you know,
Right.
it just hits differently.
All right. Mambo just told me we have an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah, yeah.
We are.
We got to wrap it
an
up. We got
hour.
to wrap it up.
So
Sam.
nah, but I want us to come back to, you know, this century, 2022, and you know we were talking about your Strictly the Best.
Right.
You know, I want you to like talk to me about that.
Strictly the Best was curated based on just how we started.
Sorry to cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
I fuck with the fact that you keep saying curated, because that's a word that a lot of people in the industry don't even have a clue about.
Gotcha.
The fact that you keep saying curated, it is, you know, a word that you're using purposely, and curating an event is going outside of your way to purposely make sure that the event is a specific
Exactly, and that's what it's
way.
that's what it's
And
designed.
I
to be.
appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, respect for that. That's
I
what it's
appreciate
designed
that.
to be. Like I say, it was curated to be. That is exactly how the conversation started about us being in-depth DJs that play different genres.
Right.
It's a way to expose. A lot of people wouldn't know that because there are stigmas attached to us. You're the Afrobeat DJ. I'm the soca DJ. Whereas we can play any genre
Facts.
of music at any point in time with the best of them.
Yeah.
So hence the name Strictly the Best. So I am sourcing, and also it gets to highlight a lot of DJs who might be overshadowed because
Okay.
of stigmas.
Okay.
You know? And I think you don't need, no disrespect to, you know, promoters who have events that host.
I know what you're about to say. You
that
don't need
host-
5-6 DJs.
Exactly.
I say it.
You know? No disrespect to those promoters.
Not disrespect to them.
You know, but you know, this when I first did this event pre-pandemic, I did it with the same Freeze International, and it happened so organic where I was working. He actually started the party. He got there early and he started the party.
Oh, that's a real DJ, and that's a respectful
You wanna know what-
DJ.
you want-
He came in early.
He came in there
Wow.
early. You want to know what's dope? The event that they had before was a compa dance class. So he started.
Don't tell me he started playing.
He started Strictly the Best right off of that vibe. So he played compa
Wow.
for like an hour or two
No way.
straight, and then went into soca. And then when he did that, I came in, and then at some point while I'm playing, he picks up the mic, and then I start talking, and then he starts playing, and that's how that whole night
Just back and
came
forth,
about.
back and forth.
So I'm like, yo, this is a good way to highlight DJs who are great at their craft and
Right.
great at playing any genre that you stick them to.
Yeah, yeah,
So this is what Strictly the Best is about. Highlighting, you know, the best DJs and having a forum where you can work together
Okay.
and go back and forth and create that same
Seamlessly.
vibe
Yeah.
seamlessly and show that you can work alongside and with DJs, and there's no ego, there's no, you know, there's a unity,
Right,
there's
right,
a
right,
togetherness. So there's a lot of different little things that are implemented that will make what Strictly the Best is.
Yeah.
You know, not just the genre of music or whatnot.
So when is the next one?
This
you do?
first installment is March 20th.
March 20th.
It's a
All right.
Sunday from 3 to 9.
Okay.
It's at Mix Lounge. And it does host Freeze International. He's kicking off the first edition. And I'm hoping that I get a free open date from Touchdown from Claude so that we can do the second installment of what we call Strictly the Best. Yeah.
How do we follow up Freeze International? That's the question.
With a Claude.
That is
The
the
Martian.
question. Nah, but Majestic, man, I appreciate you, you know, blessing me with this real talk.
Never a
Because,
problem.
You know, you're one of those DJs. I know in the international communities, men don't really give each other flowers, but bro, you're one of them DJs that I've always like respected from day one, and I've always
Your
been
respect
like,
has
yo,
always been mutual.
where you are today, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
And we both have so much further to go. Cause we trust me, bro.
Amen.
We have one and the same. So the same way you look at me is the same way I look. I share the same light to you.
I appreciate that.
Share the same light to you.
Now, I'm almost drunk off of this rum.
I know,
I'm
right?
glad I mixed that.
Now you're glad, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, this was the Martian Podcast, episode 1. I had to kick it off just like this. And I mean, this was the perfect week to kick it off. So my guy, Majestic, you're going to have all his info, all the ways to follow him and all that will be right on the screen. Make sure to do that, please. All right? We're out of here.
All right, man.